Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is John Burdett, and I'm the extremely proud principal of Prosper High School. Throughout the evening, when you leave here, you're out in the hall. Obviously, you can speak to the people behind the table. But if you need anything else, find someone with a badge and just ask us anything that you need, and we'll help you in any way possible. Okay, that's what we're here for. We want to make this evening informative for you and enjoyable. And if you need anything, just ask. It is an honor to share the stage with my colleague over here, Mr. Dustin Toth, and I'm going to turn it over to him.
All right. And just like Dr. Brett said, thank you guys for being here. I know with the school opening and Rock Hill opening, there's a lot of questions, and so that's why we're here, is to help you out and answer anything that you have. And just, I wanted to assure you that there is not a Rock Hill course selection guide and a PHS course selection guide. It's all the same. So it's a secondary, it's a high school course selection, so all the same courses that we have at PHS, we're going to have at Rock Hill, except for one, there is one exception, that's auto tech. We don't have an auto tech shop at Rock Hill. So that would be something that we just have to work through with your student, something that they're interested in. So everything else is the same. And we're going to do our best to make sure that we accommodate all your selections. I talk to Dr. Burdett just about every day on this very thing, is making sure that we're in alignment so that there is no discrepancy between PHS and Rock Hill when it comes to courses. And I know we're unique because we're opening up 9 through 12, and so that presents some challenges, and we don't want to derail anybody that's been moving along and you're coming over as a senior and now something's not available. We're going to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure it's available for you guys. And then also here tonight is Coach Humble. He is our new athletic coordinator and football coach. So if you've got questions about athletics, then we will be happy to help you guys out in that, because I know that's something that's kind of unknown right now, a lot of questions that we get. So just appreciate you guys being here. If you need anything at all, feel free to reach out to us. Ms. Rowland is our lead counselor at Rock Hill, so she'll be able to help. And then Katie Wells is also going to be a counselor at Rock Hill. So we've got some resources at PHS for you guys that can help you out. So, and I will turn it over to Ms. Rowland.
Okay, so tonight we're going to go over a few things with you guys. We're going to go over graduation requirements, going over honors and AP. We know you've just heard, a lot of you just heard about that. We want to make sure everyone gets the same information. And then what course selection looks like as an incoming freshman. So what is a credit? So when you come to high school, so talking to my 8th graders, everything you do from day one or whatever high school credit you earned in middle school is creating your GPA. So when we call you in because we're concerned about your grades or your credits, these are things that you need for graduation. So a lot of you might be coming with one of these things on the second bullet, maybe Algebra 1, Geometry, a foreign language, and even some electives. So those are already creating your high school GPA and your high school credits. For graduation in Texas, you need 26 credits to graduate, and we're going to go over what each of those are. So these are the graduation credits. You need 4 years of all 4 core areas. That's required by all of our students. You need 1 year of PE, 1 year of fine art, and then 2 credits in the same foreign language. Has to be it has to be the same language. Can't take one level of 2 different languages. And then the rest are electives, rounded out to that number of 26. For high school graduation, you also have to pass certain EOC exams. So these are like the STAR tests in middle school and elementary school. In high school, you cannot graduate unless you pass all of these. We have great passing rates in Prosper ISD, so this isn't usually a huge concern, but it's good to know. If you're a student that will be taking Algebra 1 in 9th grade, you'll have 3 EOC exams in your freshman year. Sophomore year, you will have only English 2, and then junior year, you have U.S. history. So for freshman year, you'll be taking English 1, Algebra 1 if you're taking that course as a freshman, and then biology. So these are our 4 core areas. I told you you have to have 4 years of those. English just goes in the sequence of English 1 through 4. Math is a track that gets a little bit different, as well as science. So math, everyone will take Algebra 1, Geometry, and we recommend Algebra 2 because it prepares our students for SAT, ACT, and success in college. And then their 4th year of math, they get to choose. So am I a strong math student? I might go on to pre-calculus, calculus, AP statistics, all kinds of options there. If I don't love math and I don't want to pursue anything in math in college, there are some other alternate options there as well. In social studies, everyone takes this exact list. We offer on-level, honors, and AP in most of these. But at the end of the day, everyone will have all of those credits. It's just like English, everyone takes the same thing. And in science, the only one that's required by the state is biology. Depending on what your endorsement is, almost all 10th graders take chemistry, and then after the sophomore year is really when you get your freedom to choose what science class you want to pursue. So here are some of those options. So option 1, biology, chemistry, physics. That's a track that I would recommend for anyone that wants to pursue anything engineering, science related. If you want to do a STEM endorsement, you need to follow this track as well. If you're someone who doesn't really love the sciences and you don't plan to pursue anything in that area, option 2 might be something that would be good for you. So biology and chemistry, and then you get to choose your 3rd and 4th year. Just like with math, we have on-level options as well as honors and AP options. At the bottom is a list of some of those things. In sciences, there are none available in the AP area until you get to be a sophomore. PE. So sometimes PE is a dreaded credit that our students have to get. So we do have a couple of different options. So you have your traditional PE class, like you probably participated in middle school. If you're in athletics, that counts as your PE. If you're in marching band and do that for 2 years, you will get a full credit of PE. If you're in cheerleading, drill team, or if you're in off-campus PE, all of those things will get your physical education requirement. If you're not in any of the athletics and down, and you are dreading your PE credit, outdoor adventures and outdoor education is something that might be a good thing to look into. It's a non-traditional PE class. You can do archery, things like that. So it's something that's interesting to our students that are kind of dreading getting this credit. Athletic tryouts. So athletics in high school is very competitive. Any student can sign up for the athletic period as a freshman. When you go and complete your course selection, you will have the option to choose any of them. Most of them are double blocked, meaning they take 2 of your 8 periods, and you have to make the team in order to stay in the class. And the best way to find out information on that is to contact that coach directly. And all of those contact information are on the website. Right now that's the PHS website, and we will follow most of the guidelines for how many students are added into those classes, etc. And then once Rock Hill gets all of its coaches hired, then it'll be separated after that. So I spoke about at the top, sports are double blocked. You get 1 credit for that double blocked period. And that means you're going to get 7 credits a year instead of getting 8 credits a year if you were a non-athlete. If you do your math, your 7 credits times your 4 years here, you're still reaching that 26 number. You have extra credits in order to reach graduation. You can have the option to single block the sport, but this has to be at the approval of the coach. And it doesn't happen very often, just so you can plan accordingly. You can make sure that you use a 4-year plan to map out all of your courses to make sure on top of athletics, you're getting in all your fine arts and your languages and all those classes that are required besides your electives. Summer tryout sports. So all of these sports here on this slide have summer tryouts. That information will be going out soon. And you will choose the sport and enough credits to equal 8 periods. So once we receive all the lists from the coaches saying these are the people that made the sports, we will go in and make sure that that is what is actually on that student's course selection and take out any PE or anything that would interfere with the athletics credit being earned. So these are some numbers. This is what the question we get usually or most often is how competitive is it? So it's very competitive. Splitting into 2 high schools will help, but we still, numbers are good to see. Like in golf, They take 3 to 5 per gender per grade level. So that's a pretty small team. So when you're wondering, am I at that level, you can contact the coach and say, hey, what do your golfers score? What's their average score? And if you know yours, you can compare yourself and see what that might look like, just so you have a good picture of what that will look like after tryouts for you. Okay, so that was all of the section for PE. On to the next requirement is languages other than English, or we call it LOTE. You have to have 2 credits in the same language. So these are the ones that are offered here at PHS and will be at Rock Hill as well. New this year is German and Mandarin Chinese. The thing to know about these are they are online only. So there will be no live instructor that's teaching the language. There will be an adult that facilitates the course, but the instruction will be online. For both of those languages, although they are online, they will still have an honors weighted GPA. So our next category, fine arts, you need 1 year of fine art or 1 credit of fine art. Sometimes, just like PE, fine art is the credit that our students kind of dread getting. That may not be your cup of tea. There are lots of options. We have students that take all of these, but some to point out if this is the kind of the spot that you're dreading, we like to advertise the history of American music. That's a really cool class. It's new this year, and the kids have been saying great things about it. Technical theater, they're building sets, they're running the lights, they're running the sound. It's a really cool class. Floral design, that's available to 10th graders. And then digital art and animation is like basically a computer class of art. So lots of options in that fine art area for those of you that may not be our band or our orchestra or our choir students. Okay, endorsements. So this is something probably all of you have heard about. You have to have an endorsement to graduate from high school in the state of Texas. Basically, what this does is take all of your electives and tries to group them in one of these 5 areas. If you're a student that has no idea which one of these areas you're going to fit in, I want to stress to you that it is okay. And same to you, mom and dad, it is okay. Colleges do not care what your endorsement is. You will earn one by default by the way that our our graduation requirements are set up. You all have to take 4 years of the 4 core classes, so we ensure that you at least earn the multidisciplinary endorsement. If you earn others, that's fabulous. But if you're the student that takes engineering 1 year and you don't like it, and then you take culinary and you don't like it, you take art and you don't like it, it's okay. There's still one of these categories for you. So we just want to make sure you know, take the classes you're interested in. Don't feel like you have to keep a certain endorsement elective after freshman year just because that's what you chose freshman year. Okay, so honors or AP. A lot of you were in here for that meeting, so we're going to go over these a little bit more quickly. I know some of you are not, so I'll try to give as much detail as needed right now. So we do have open enrollment for all of those courses. Anyone can choose any level of course that they want as long as they have the prerequisite for the course. AP, they have the opportunity to potentially earn college credit for those courses. So they take a course all year long, and at the end of the year, they take a standardized test that's written by the same people that write the SAT, and they can potentially earn college credit. I say potentially because 1, they have to score the correct score, and 2, it matters where they're sending that credit, what college. Different colleges accept different scores on those AP exams to award credit. Just so you know, the things we want to think about when you're thinking, do I want to choose one of these courses? They go faster. The honors classes are there to prepare students to eventually take the AP class. So you have to think of that. Even if I'm not on track or I don't want to take AP biology, if I choose if I choose honors biology, they're going to be preparing me for AP biology. So you have to keep that in mind. That's why it's going to be more difficult. When I was talking about the courses, the scores you have to have, usually it's a 3 or higher. 1s and 2s aren't accepted by colleges, but sometimes they up the ante and they say you have to have a 4 on this exam for us to give you a credit, or even a 5, depending on what the course is. The best way to know if this is a good fit for you or your child is to ask their current teachers. They're the ones that have had them all year. They're the ones that know their work ethic. Work ethic is going to be a huge part of this. So, is it right for me? So these are the things to ask yourself. Are you an independent worker? So do I go home and I automatically do my homework? Do I have lots and lots of things to do outside of school? Am I in band that takes X number of hours a week? Am I in football? We don't want to discourage you from taking the pre-AP, or sorry, honors and AP courses that you like, but you just have to think about balance between the ones that you're choosing and what you have a commitment to outside of your academics. And then, most importantly, if you choose it and it is absolutely wrong for you and you want to get out, we have two options of getting out of honors and AP courses during the school year. The first option is at the 6-week mark in the school year. So we are on 9-week grading periods, so that means you get out at the 6-week mark, and then you still have a little bit of time in the on-level course. The next opportunity after that first 6 weeks is not going to be until the end of the first semester. After that first semester, you can level down, but then there is not another opportunity after that time, because we figure by that time you know what that course is like and if it's a good fit for you. So here is a sample freshman schedule. Depending on your track of math, it's going to be a little bit different. But here are our options. So when you go in for course selection, these are the things we want you to focus on making sure you choose. So your core areas. If you have space in your schedule, it's great to knock out your PE, your fine art, and your first level of your language in the first year of high school, because then it opens up more space in your future years. You have more space for electives. So we are on block schedule. I know some days at middle school are on block schedule. We're on block schedule every day at the high school. So the bell schedules will be the same for Rock Hill as they are at Prosper High School. So we will all follow the same thing. So we have A days and B days. You go to 4 classes a day, and on the opposite day, you go to 4 new classes. So an athlete would look like this. So I told you earlier that the athletics are double blocked. You can see at the bottom of the athlete's sample schedule, they have soccer both days. So that's what we mean by double block. They go to that item every day. Later on, not freshman year, but sophomore, junior year, you might be in an elective that's double blocked. They're usually set up the same way. A non-athlete, you have a little bit more space. You can fit that PE in, you can fit your art in, you can fit your foreign language in, so you're taking care of those graduation requirements. The course catalog has been uploaded to the website. It's in a few different places. So this is what you're going to use if you want to know if a class has a prerequisite, if a class has honors weighted GPA or AP weighted GPA, how many credits you get from it, and also, of course, just what is this class? What am I going to learn here? This is online, and this is a great first stop, because in addition to having the course descriptions and prerequisites, it also has general information about high school, like most of the things in this PowerPoint, our graduation requirements, our GPA scale, our how to recover credits that you may have failed a class. All of that is located within the course catalog. Course offerings, there's a lot of courses in that course catalog, and we try our best to offer every single one. But sometimes, depending on funding levels or student interest, we're unable to offer every single one. So we have to have a certain number of students interested in a course for it to be actually offered the next year. So GPA. So when you look in the course catalog, there is a section on GPA. We have 3 different levels of GPA at Prosper High School and Rock Hill High School. So the first one is our on-level courses. Then we have an honors course. It used to be called pre-AP. They're all transitioning to honors, and it means the same thing. And then our AP and dual credit are both on the highest GPA scale. And we'll look at an example of that on this next slide. So in the weighted GPA scale, every point into the grade calculation matters. And this scale here, this chart here, is in the course catalog printed. So you can see an on-level course has a maximum of 5.0 GPA points. Honors is 5.5 GPA points maximum. and a 6.0 for our AP and dual credit courses. So after April 30th, we consider all course selections to be final. So our ending course selection, January 24th, is when we ask that your students have their papers turned in. All of the computers will be turned off January 27th. You won't be able to access that part of Skyward any longer, but you have all the way until April 30th to make any final changes. We do that because we have to hire teachers based on the input that our students give us. So if one particular year we have a huge number of people interested in our AV Tech, well then we need to plan for that, we need to hire for that. So we want to make sure that the numbers that we get are as accurate as possible. And that date this year will be April 30th. So here's some important dates to remember for you guys. So January 13th, here we are. Hopefully you guys go check out all of our options available out in the expo. And then January 24th is that date that we want everything into Skyward, and we want you to select your endorsement. Remember, if you're not sure, it's okay. We want everyone to declare one, and then if you choose something else, it's okay. We go back senior year, so way after you do this, and then we say, oh, look, you earned this. And the computer does that for us, and it's okay if the one you declare doesn't match the one that you actually earned. That's okay. And then April 30th is the final opportunity to submit any course requests. Oh, one more thing. So on January 24th, you'll turn in the worksheet. Make sure that actually matches what you put into the computer, because we cross-reference those when we come back in the summertime and we're working through schedules and making sure we accommodate everyone the best we can. That's the paper that we actually use, because otherwise we just have what's in the computer and then we don't know what to go, what's their alternate, or how do we contact them. Make sure what's on the paper is as accurate as what you put into Skyward, please. And then this week, if you're the 8th grader, we're going to be coming to your school this week. The high school counselors are. So tomorrow we'll be going to Hayes Middle School and we'll meet with all of the students. And so that's just going to be a 1 to 30-ish ratio, and they'll be able to ask questions. So feel free to send them to school with questions tomorrow. We're A-okay with doing that. The 15th, our counselors will be at Rogers, and then the 16th, they'll be at Reynolds. This is our current counseling team. So we have Ms. Hicks, who does letters A and B, and she was at Rogers Middle School. A bunch of you probably know her. Mrs. Wells, Mrs. Roach, myself, Mrs. Rowland, Ms. Cooper is our lead counselor, Mr. Story, Mr. Stroh, Ms. Foster, and then we have Ms. Vincent, our testing coordinator. So she deals with all of the testing on campus. And then myself and Mrs. Wells, we will be going to Rock Hill along with 2 other counselors that are going to be officially named later. So we'll be taking the Prosper style, taking it over to Rock Hill and creating that same kind of culture over there. So we're looking to a great 4 years with you and your students. Make sure you turn in your worksheet and do your selections on Skyward by January 24th. And thank you for your time. That's all we have.